I am totally illiterate. Philosophy is easy. Anyone could do it. Totally illiterate. Hello, Zoo citizens. Today I'm going to give you 5 tips for how to learn deconstruction. First, develop an organized and technical approach to note-taking. Learning deconstruction, just like learning Hegel, just like learning any post-structuralism, is not really about individual brilliance. It's about tech, repetition, training, and process. You are upgrading your brain. You are not demonstrating how smart you have always been. Tip number 2, trust the text when you're reading. Stop trying to be original. Stop trying to be cute. Stop trying to agree or disagree. If you think you have a critique of deconstruction, I promise you that you don't. If you walked into a classroom and your professor had written E equals MC squared on the board, would the first thing you do be, well, I don't know, do I agree with that? No, is that consistent with mine? No. So if you want to learn this stuff, you have to take it seriously as a complex technical reading apparatus. That means if any criticism is going to come, it's going to come later. Third tip, consider depth over breadth, in particular when studying Derridian text. When I was training myself to join the Derrida Liberation Front in college, I wanted to be the best at this. I worked really extremely impossibly hard. I chose 3 Derrida texts to outline obsessively. Plato's Pharmacy, Hegelianism Without Reserve, from Restricted to a General Economy, and Signature Event Context. Now, Derrida is very repetitious in his way, but if you don't go in depth on at least one of those repetitions, then you won't have access to the force of the deconstructive repetition. I did a video on outlining. I'm going to link that at the end of the video here. So, 4th tip, notice rules and patterns across authors. And in the case of Derrida, that's where the title of the channel comes from. Derridemes are gestures, patterns, repetitions that you can notice so that Derrida becomes more and more familiar to you in general, so that in particular when you're reading him, he can be stranger and stranger and things get really cool. Once Derrida is in a certain way familiar to you, that's actually when things get really exciting reading the Derridian corpus. So the pedagogy of this YouTube channel is going to try to teach you these patterns or Derridemes. There's going to be videos on things like always already, what is the historicism Derrida-Foucault debate, and I have also already a video about what is axiomatic or some rules in deconstruction, so you can evaluate what sort of paths of argumentation Derrida could possibly be saying with some degree of certainty. But you want to make your own sort of, if you're noticing a pattern, name it, mark it, and try to synthesize it. That'll really help you reading. And then finally, try to limit your reliance on secondary literature. So Derrida died about 19 years ago. How advanced do you think the general understanding of Plato was 19 years after his death? Hegel? Spinoza? Nietzsche? Anybody who's any good is untimely. Derrida is no different. What you want to do is rely more or less exclusively on the writings of Geoffrey Bennington, which are indispensable, irreplaceable, and without peer. Get those. That's all you really need. Not that Derrida and deconstruction doesn't have a depth chart. There are very strong deconstructive and Derridian thinkers working. It's just that to get to why they're strong and to get to why they're valuable and to be able to engage with them, you need to pass through some level of gaining competence in deconstruction first. There's no Bennington in Deleuze land. There's no equivalent. So we have 30 billion intros to Anti-Oedipus because we have not successfully introduced Anti-Oedipus. We have 1 million Deleuze dictionaries because the basic terms of what Deleuze is saying are still not well parsed by the scholarship. So it's not easy, but the primary texts are sort of the only option. The resources on this channel, feel free to comment with something that would be helpful for you or something that would be useful for you for any of these authors, or if you have any questions about this stuff. Okay. Thank you. Hope that was helpful.